Hello, everyone. It's Angie Hartzell. How are you? I am the connection specialist, animal communicator, pet psychic, and medium for dogs and people. And I am so excited to share this topic with you today. This is the topic of dogs who do not feel safe. So, you're probably thinking, like, well, my dog feels safe. It's loved. We connect all the time. We take rides together. I give lots of treats. That's true. You do love your dog loves you. Love is one thing. Think about yourself as a human. Do you feel loved by things in life? Do you feel loved by your dog? Do you feel loved by another person in your life? Do you feel connected to people and things in your life? Yes, you do. But do you have moments in your life that you also do not feel safe? Yes, you do. Like if you're walking, in a dark parking lot and you hear a noise, you would not feel safe in that moment. You would be like, "What's going on? Who's behind me? What's happening?" Right? Your heart would race and you'd be like, you would get this nervous system reaction. Well, I'm here to tell you that dogs walk around all the time not feeling safe. Unfortunately, we as dog parents don't fully understand why our dog is acting the way that they do. But what we're not always looking at is if they feel safe. So, in order for a dog to feel safe, they have to choose to feel safe. Now, some of the things that could have happened to the dog that will allow for it to feel unsafe are it could have trauma. It could have had really deep stress situations. It could have experienced a stress situation that really tapped at that nervous system and it could not feel safe very easily now. That dog could have experienced neglect or abuse. Or even if a puppy is taken from its mom too young, or if a puppy is part of a very large litter and it got no connection from the mom, it's not going to feel safe on its own. These are top areas that a lot of people don't understand. They usually feel like only if a dog had trauma, it doesn't feel safe. But that's not true. An everyday dog, literally birthed from a litter right there in the home that you're living in, could have reasons that it decided on its own that its nervous system needed to live in what's called fight or flight mode, meaning if I don't feel safe, I'm taking off, or if I don't feel safe, I'm going to protect myself. And a lot of dogs live in this state because something put them there. It doesn't always mean it was through the hand of a human. It doesn't always mean it was through the action of a human. It literally could have happened, just like I said, from a litter, from any type of stressful situation that they experienced that could have nothing to do with you and anyone in your home. They could have been out on a walk and a very large dog could have approached them and barked once at them. And if that nervous system was sparked, they now have a reason to live in fight or flight, right? So let's talk about when dogs don't feel safe. When dogs don't feel safe, we start to see stress responses. Now, the first thing that I will ask my clients that I work with one on one with their dog, or I will see in any videos that are sent to me, is I will ask if when the dog is reacting out the window, if it's a situation where they're reacting out a window or at someone in the home, I will say this: does your dog look back at you? And the reason I need to know this is because if the dog is constantly focused on target, so let's just use a cat in the house that it doesn't like, and the dog is always barking at the cat, right? If the cat is in the house and it shoots behind the couch, right? So now it's out of sight, and the dog wants to go after the cat, it could easily be chasing the cat, right? It could have a prey drive and it could want to chase the cat as if it was some type of prey. But it also could be going through a stress response. So while that's happening, while the dog is actively barking at the cat, anytime within that barking, does the dog look back at you? Does the dog look back at you? The reason that I'm asking this is because dogs will decide that they feel unsafe for two reasons. They will feel unsafe for themselves, or they will feel unsafe for the owner's protection. Dogs love to give themselves a job. I have met so many dogs that gave themselves jobs that they didn't need, And it has created such stress and frustration and imbalance in the home because this dog is so reactive. Now, I just used the cat as an example. I'm going to use a FedEx truck as an example, which this is outlined in my ebook too. So if you haven't gone to my website, petparentconnection.com, and you haven't seen that I have an ebook, do that because the ebook, it literally outlines this scenario and many, 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 many more. So let's talk about a FedEx truck. So we know how the dog just reacted with the cat. Now we're talking about a FedEx truck. So we have a dog barking out a window. It might be standing up on the window. Its hackles, which is the fur behind its neck, might be standing up. And this dog is just going for the FedEx truck, just crazy, just rah, 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 right? Like tons of barking, ears are shifting, body shifting, just all in. The body's up on the windowsill, right? Going after this FedEx truck. That is a fight or flight response again. However, it is coming from one of two places. Either the dog doesn't feel safe or it doesn't feel safe for its owner. So we need to figure that out in that moment. Does the dog look back at you? I need to know these things as a behavioral dog trainer and connection specialist for dogs because that's a big indicator. If the dog looks back at you, they're protecting you. They're making sure that you know what's going on and they gave themselves a job to protect you. If the dog stays straight out the window and doesn't look back at you, then it's fearful for itself. It is unsure for itself. That's two indicators right there from when dogs don't feel safe that you can understand what type of stress, trauma, reaction you're working with. If that dog doesn't feel safe on its own, then we need to train that dog from a different standpoint as a dog that is looking back at you who wants to protect you. As the trainer and connection specialist, I work with you and I say, okay, I see that this dog is not looking back at you. So we need to work with that dog's connection with itself and with you at a deeper level. And that's what we need to do. And then if the dog is looking back at you, I say, okay, now we have to work out on what that dog sees in you as their safety net. So we need to talk about that and find out what is that dog doing in the home on a regular basis, every single day, as its norm, to keep you in its loop of feeling safe, to make sure that you're always there when it needs you. And this is why we see a really large incline in the numbers of separation anxiety too, because when a dog is taken from its mom too young, it can have separation anxiety. When a dog is inbred, when there's way too much inbreeding going on and you're getting from breeders that you really don't know, you're just buying these dogs online or at a pet store, you don't know where they came from. Shelters, we just don't know. When you have a dog that their anxiety is completely heightened and the separation anxiety comes into play. Now we're dealing with a whole nother animal. I say whole nother animal, not meaning it's a different animal than your dog, but it's a whole different way of getting that dog to feel safe. We have to go even deeper and we have to go to a psychological reset and a nervous system reset to train that dog out of that space. But once we do, which happens with me within a 2-hour time period, once we do that, we're good. That dog has been reset. They know what they need to do. You know what the dog needs from you, and we can get that dog to feel safe moving forward. So these are just really specific examples of when your dog doesn't feel safe, how it looks differently from my lens, from how I'm seeing your dog, and what you can do in the moment of helping your dog. So the dog that is barking at the window or the cat or whatever doesn't feel safe on its own, you need to touch that dog because their brain is active. So you need to touch that dog and go with a deeper connection, which is found in my ebook. The dog that is looking back at you, we need to instill daily boundaries for that dog, right? The boundaries where this dog feels safe every single part of the day and doesn't need you to do so. And also doesn't look to you to handle stuff for them. And that's also usually a very insecure dog and also a Velcro dog, as they're called. They're the ones that are always around you. They're always under your feet. They always need to be by you. People think that this is a loving connection thing, but it's actually a nervous system thing. The nervous system doesn't feel safe, so they need to be a codependent with their owner. That's what it is. It's codependency. If the owner's not there, the dog doesn't feel safe. And then we get into the dogs that are really, really going through it with separation anxiety and those types of things. And that's just a deeper, we need to go way deeper on that dog. And also, for me, I tap into my animal communication a little bit more with these dogs because I need to know what's going on. People, or I'm sorry, dogs have shared with me, like, I was neglected, I wasn't fed for 5 days. Like, this is, shelter dogs mostly. I had a dog that told me that it was never allowed to sit on a piece of furniture. It was never allowed to be with anybody on any type of furniture. It had to live in a crate. I had another dog that told me that it had a smell in the house that it was living in that reminded it of the house that it was abused in. And that caused triggers in the dog. The smell wasn't always there. It just kind of came and went sometimes, but that created a trigger in the dog. So, as an animal communicator and pet psychic and medium, I find out way deeper than just what I'm looking at in the dog in the video. I can have a communication session with a dog just by looking at a picture or looking at a video. So, I can communicate with that dog and find out what's going on with it. And if the dog wants to tell me, it will tell me, but not all dogs tell me. I had a dog that actually said, when I asked if he was okay, he was a very dominant dog and he's causing a lot of havoc in the house with his brothers, his dog brothers. And I literally said to him, like, hey, what's going on with you? And he goes, I'm fine, move on. He would not talk to me. He just wouldn't. And you have to think of these spiritual connection conversations with animals just as you would like approach a person on the street and be like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm fine, right? If dogs don't want to talk to me, they won't talk to me. I can't make it happen. But if they do want to tell me, they will tell me. I'll come in from a side of asking if they feel safe in the home that they're in. And again, that can have absolutely nothing to do with you and your home and your family. It could be just because the dog decided. And the answer could be no. And then I have to say, well, have you ever felt safe? And the answer might be no, or the answer might be yes. And if the answer is yes, then I'll say, well, where were you? Or what did you have near you? Or who was near you? I'll ask specific questions to the dog. And then they'll communicate with me if they want to and tell me what they had that made them feel safe. And then I can share that with the dog parent, but I can also mirror it. So if it's a specific location, I can say to the pet parent, well, they had this really, really thick blanket that they felt super safe with. Well, maybe they live in a home right now that they live in a crate that they don't give them a blanket because as a puppy they chewed it and ate it and now they're afraid to give the adult dog a blanket. But the adult dog can have a blanket now, right? So then I'll say to the dog, okay, I'm going to tell your owner that you want a really thick blanket, but I'm going to tell you right now you cannot chew it. It's not a chew toy. You have to just use the blanket to feel safe. Do you agree with that? And the dog will say yes or no. So this is me communicating with the dog at a deeper level when they don't feel safe. And this is where I'm so prideful in all of the pieces of me that I can help pet parents like that. I help pet parents so quickly now. And it's just this beautiful way of service that I'm just so happy to be at this space and at this place in my business. So if your dog doesn't feel safe, I highly recommend that first you go to my website, petparentconnection.com. If you're interested in my ebook, you can definitely grab it right there. It's $27 right there on my website. It's right at the top. But if you're interested in a deeper knowing of your dog, I highly recommend that you book either the video upload mentorship session, which is like a one-on-one training for your dog, or you book a call with me, which is you email me at info@petparentconnection.com and you tell me exactly what you need. See, here's the thing. I don't have like anything on my website where people can just book a call with me because I'd really like to have a conversation first. It's important to me that I have a conversation. So info@petparentconnection.com is my email. Tell me what you need. And then I will customize something for you. It might be send me videos of your dog first, and then let's hop on a Zoom call, and then let's intuitively get involved in what's going on with your dog. You might have a hybrid. You might have the video plus the intuitive session, or as you contact me in email, I get energetic connections through people when they email, text, or call me. So I will already know in the energetic realm what your dog is open to. And I will say to you, I'm really feeling like let's have a full intuitive session first before I even see any videos of your dog, if I even think I need them after that. Because energetically, I'm feeling like this dog needs me. And if the dog needs me, then we can get really deep and I can tell you exactly what your dog needs. And you won't have to send me training videos because we'll fix it intuitively and from the spirit side. So it's absolutely beautiful what I do. But yes, so I can't thank you enough for listening to me today on dogs that don't feel safe and how you can help your dog. I also want you to know that I'm here to help in any way that I can. And you're always welcome. My email is always welcome, info@petparentconnection.com. I want to help the pet parents that need me. That's what I'm doing. I'm not on YouTube for like, big numbers. I'm on here to be found by those that need me. And that's what's important to me. So I can't thank you enough for choosing you and your dog today. And I love you. And I will talk to you soon.